Hey guys, it's Adrian. Um, so I'm filming this one from my laptop instead of my phone. That's why it's a little bit darker. Um, so Leah from Leah Crochets actually tagged me in this video, and I will leave a link to her channel in the description box below. Um, but what it is it's 20 questions about crochet that I'm going to answer for y'all. So, the first question is, how old were you when you learned to crochet? Um, I first learned to crochet like the very basics, how to hold my yarn, how to hold my hook, around 8 years old. Um, my grandma Fontella taught me. I had spent a summer with my dad in Washington State, and we went up there to see her and my great grandmother, and we did all kinds of crafts. And I remember they had this huge white brick fireplace that, of course, it was summertime, so I mean, it wasn't burning anything, but it was super fun to sit on as a kid. Like, it was really cool. And they had a piano, and those were all just things that I had never really seen before. And this huge house, it was huge. I mean, at the time I was only 8, but it seemed really big, and even now in my head it seems like it was a massive house with beautifully manicured green lawns. And yeah. She doesn't live in that house anymore, but in my mind that was like a really fun experience. And I spent that summer doing all kinds of stuff, arts and crafts, crocheting. um so yeah. Number 2 is, what was the first thing you remember making? The first thing that I remember, like the first finished project I remember making, um was an amigurumi bunny rabbit. And I didn't finish, like, I didn't complete a project or really pick up crochet regularly until probably 4 or 5 years ago. Um, Now, the fact that my grandmother taught me the basics as a kid made picking it up as an adult much easier. I mean, it just all came very naturally to me. Um, and yeah, the first thing I made was a little purple bunny rabbit because I like purple. And I think I think I made a couple of them. Um, I want to say that my nieces Carly and Carson each got one. I don't remember if my daughter got one, but I know that she's got so many amigurumi stuffed animals now. She don't need no more amigurumi. um, Question number 3: the make you are most proud of and why? Um, the make that I'm probably most proud of is a cardigan that I have actually showed on my community tab. It's the pattern was called Fairy Glass, and I did it out of um, Cotton King's yarn, so it was 100% cotton. Um, that was the first pattern. Like, I taught myself how to read a diagram using that pattern. Prior to that, I didn't know anything about crocheting from a diagram. So it was really difficult. It took a lot of frogging. Took me a while to finish it. I mean, that particular pattern takes forever anyways. If I can, maybe I'll put a image in up here somewheres. of it, and I've showed another one that I've been working on, a pink and black one that I've been working on in one of my other videos about Stinley yarns. Um, but that's probably the make that I'm most proud of, just because I taught myself how to read the diagram, and then it took so long to finish. Um, and they turned out beautiful. And the one that I'm working on right now is turning out. I just gotta go get some black yarn to do one sleeve. One sleeve. That's all I got left. What is the oldest yarn you have in your stash? I actually have. It was 10. It was 10 skeins, but I actually have currently 9 skeins of vintage Unger yarn. Um, I think it's called Unger Lovely. I think it was made in like 1956, something like that. I found it at the thrift store um, some time ago, and I started doing some research on it. Um, I think it's mohair. Now I actually have it listed in my Etsy shop because I wasn't going to use it, and I had one person buy only one skein, and since then I've seriously been contemplating pulling it out of the shop and figuring out what I can make with it. It's a thinner yarn. If I could reach it, I would pull it down, but it's way up there, and I have to get my son to pull it down to show y'all. Maybe that's another picture I'll insert over here somewhere. Question number 5 is knife or pencil grip, and I am a knife grip. Um, do you Number 6, do you prefer Boyle or Susan Bates style hooks? Actually, I don't use either of them. Now, when I was first taught, I used just one of those. What are they? I don't know if it's Boyd or Boy. I don't know, but I don't know how to pronounce that word. But that's what I learned with. Um, but as an adult, I use Knitter's Pride Waves crochet hooks. They have the handle on them, and they are sturdy enough to hold up against Kiwi. I had just a cheap little set from like Amazon, I think it was, that had like soft grip rubber handles on them, and he chewed them. He chewed those things into pieces. There was rubber everywhere, and anytime he gets a hold of one, that's what he does. He just destroys them. So I switched to the Knitter's Pride, and I actually really like those. Um, Number 7, favorite brand of hooks. I would have to say Knitter's Pride. Um, Favorite hook size or range of hook sizes. I use 3mm and 3.5mm a lot. Those are my two most used hooks. Um, so, and those I have to tell apart by the color because Knitter's Pride, the sizes are kind of painted on there and they're worn away. Number 9, favorite weight of yarn. Excuse me. My favorite weight of yarn is usually a 2 or a 3. Lately I've been working with weight 1 a lot, and I quite enjoy that as well. Um, it's not that I can't work with a 4 or a 5. I can work with 4s and 5s. I just don't like to. Now 6 and 7 tend to be a little rough on my wrist. Um, Favorite yarn fiber and why? I'm gonna go with cotton or cotton blends. Cotton tends to be a little bit more sturdy. And then the cotton blends I like because, like, if it's depending on what it's blended with, you get, the warmth and the coziness, but you still get that sturdiness from the cotton. Um, yeah, that's probably my favorite fiber. Um, Feature one of your favorite yarns. Well, one of my favorite yarns just recently got discontinued, so thanks, Lion Brand, for that. Um, uh, right now, yeah, they don't make Shauna Ball anymore. This was like one of my most favorite yarns, and they apparently don't make it anymore. So that one, I guess, since that one they don't make anymore, um, lately I have been working a lot with Yarn Bee Authentic Hand Dyed. I've got 2 or 3 different projects planned out in different colors for that. Um, Here is the color that I'm working with right now, and it's a super fine weight one. Um, so I guess at the moment that's my favorite yarn. It could change at any moment. um, what is your favorite crochet item to make? In particular, I like making cardigans and amigurumi. I do a lot of cardigans and a lot of amigurumi. Amigurumi in the summer, cardigans in the winter. Or at least I try to do it that way. um, which crochet item do you least enjoy making? I don't like making blankets. I hate it. I have 2 of them that I have started, and I I hate it. They start getting heavy and they start getting big where I can't maneuver them very well, and I don't like making blankets. um, I have only completed 2 blankets, um, and those were gifts, and I just don't see myself once these 2 that I have started are finished. I don't know that I'm gonna start anymore. I don't want to say that I won't, because there's always a possibility that I will, but these 2 that I have started are both Graphgans. Um, and maybe I would like it better if I did like granny squares and sewed them together. Because then it wouldn't be so weighty on my wrists while I'm working on it. But I know the Graphgans that I've done, they get so heavy and they're hard to maneuver, and that's why I have 2 of them. I've got one that's being done in corner to corner, regular corner to corner, and then I've got one that's just being done in single crochet, and I can't stand it. I don't want to do it. um Number 14. What is one crochet item you have yet to make? Doilies. I have never even attempted a doily. Um in somebody's live feed actually one day I was like, I don't understand the point of a doily. My grandmother had doilies, and I understand they're decorative, but what purpose do they serve? Like, because to me, it's a really fancy dust rag. And I know it sounds horrible, but I don't understand why it's necessary to put them on your tables. But I've never made a doily. Number 15. Describe your color palette. Um, I I like kind of all colors really. I mean, my favorite color is purple. Um, I know. I know I work a lot of stuff up in blues and purples, greens. Um, Now, I don't know if you would call that neutral or what, but I use a lot of purples, blues, and greens. Maybe I should use more red. I got a lot of red in there. What is your favorite crochet hack? I'm not really sure about that one. Yeah, I have. If I, you know what a favorite crochet hack would be that I can't do right now, would be having a yarn winder and a swift, so that when I work with hanks like this, I don't have to wind them into a ball by myself. That would be a hack that I would get into. I gotta go and get a swift and a yarn winder and all of that. But that would be a hack I could get into for sure, for sure. Um, Number 17. What are your thoughts on crochet being a trend and companies mass producing it? Um, so for me, this particular question falls under the category of politics, and I don't particularly care for discussing politics, religion, or money. Um, I do have some thoughts on that question, but they're not very positive thoughts. Um, uh, uh, Crochet can't be done on a machine, and I feel like, to me, it's disturbing that these companies want to mass produce this kind of stuff, because it's being mass produced by, individuals who are not making enough for their time and their efforts. Um, they're being made in sweatshops, and personally, as an American, and see, this is I'm already, it's turning into a political statement. As an American, personally, I think that if you want to buy crochet, that's fine, but do it from somebody who handmade it at home, or something like that. Don't go to a big name brand company and purchase something that is crocheted, because the more people continue to buy it, the more these companies are going to continue to run sweatshops and get these people working for them for nothing. I mean, even children, um my thoughts on that question is if you really want something that's crocheted, buy it from somebody who made it handmade. Don't go through some big, major company and buy it. And I'm just going to leave it at that, because I could go off on a tangent, and I may or may not offend some people. So yeah, we're just going to leave it as, my thoughts on that one are, if you want crochet, purchase a crochet item from somebody who makes it handmade, who is purchase it from an individual, not a company. Um, Feature a design or a pattern designer that you like and highlight one of their patterns. Um, okay, so one of the websites that I like getting patterns from is garnstudio.com. They a lot of their patterns require lighter weight yarns, and so I actually get a lot of my patterns from them. And that's where the fairy glass pattern came from. The shawl pattern that I'm working on right now, those are all Garn Studio patterns. And actually, I think they're the makers of Drops yarn. I think it's called Drops. Um, Number 19. What is the next pattern you want to make? I don't know. I don't know specifically what the next pattern I want to make is. I mean, the list is like super, super long. I got about 15 different cardigans I want to try. 20. What is your best tip for beginners? Um, my best tip for beginners is probably to... Ooh, that one's a hard one. I don't know. I'm not a very good teacher. Um, I would say find yourself a cheaper yarn and a larger hook, or a hook that is maybe about half a millimeter bigger than what it says to use on the package. And then you're gonna have to, make swatches and practice, practice, practice. And I say choose a cheaper yarn because um, when you're learning, there is a lot of frogging, and you're probably gonna go through a skein of yarn just trying to learn how to crochet. And I I pick that tip because if I hadn't already known how to crochet, I would be the individual that went out and bought like a $30 skein of hand dyed yarn to learn off of, thinking I was just gonna get it. It was just gonna click. Now, that's not what I did 4 or 5 years ago, but that's mostly because at the time I didn't have $30 to blow on one skein of yarn or one hank. um, because even having already known the basics, it took me a few days to get my tension right. It was my tension that I was having issues with. Like, I knew how to do the stitches, but it was my tension. And I think that could be because when I picked crochet back up, I started with amigurumi, and now I've noticed like my amigurumi stitches are like a lot tighter than even... I mean, I've seen people that they only do amigurumi, and my stitches are really, really tight, and I think I just naturally like them that way. To me, it's a cleaner look. You can't see that stuffing in there. But yeah, so my tip is, if you're gonna learn to crochet, start out with a cheaper yarn. Maybe pick up a hook that's about a half a millimeter larger, and then just practice, practice, practice. Don't give up. It's definitely going to be probably, well, at least for me, it was tension, that I had to practice the most. Anyways, so, those are, excuse me, that is my, 20 question Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a long video. I don't expect most of you will watch it to the end. I have no idea who I will tag for the next person in this. I mean, maybe Alt Nuts. I'll go ahead and tag her, and maybe Cinnamon Stitches. I don't know if they've already done this video or not, but I'll tag them. And you guys should go check out their channels too. Those are two really good crochet channels. And I will see you guys in my next video.